Mr. Giovanni, it's over to you for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker, so your job is to oversee the parliamentary precinct, to be a referee in the House of Commons, and to oversee the House of Commons harassment policy. When performing these duties, would you agree that it's important to remain neutral?
Of course, I would agree that it's important to remain impartial. I hope all the decisions that I've pronounced in this place would be judged by any fair-minded person as being decisions that could stand the test of time and that were impartial.
So as part of this, you no longer attend the weekly meetings with Liberal MPs, caucus meetings, for example?
Absolutely.
With regard to the harassment policy, would you agree with me that it's important for the accuser and the accused to have confidence that they will be treated fairly according to the harassment policy, regardless of what party that they're a member of?
I would hope that they would feel that the process that was set up was one which allows them to both be able to feel free to express themselves, to raise the issues, and for it to be properly disputed.
So today there's an ongoing debate about your partisan actions and whether you should remain a speaker. There'll be a vote later today on that. The story for the fundraising event and the highly partisan language used was that it went out in error and that it was a commonly used template. Have you been given assurances from the Liberal Party that this is in fact the story and that this template was widely used by other MPs?
So you'll forgive me, Mr. Giovanni, but this is a matter which is before the House. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment on it right now before the House pronounces on this.
Okay, so if you haven't been given that assurance, or at least we can't confirm right now that you have been, do you think that MPs who want confidence and trust in the harassment policy should be concerned about the judgment of the Liberal Party in using the office of the Speaker for partisan purposes?
Again, Mr. Giovanni, you're putting me in a very uncomfortable situation. I would love to be able to comment on this issue. It just wouldn't be appropriate for me to do so when this matter is before the House.
Okay. Well, why don't we zoom out then? We can zoom out to make you a little more comfortable from what we're talking about in the House today. Just generally speaking, do you have a policy on how to avoid this sort of partisanship from bleeding into your activities as the Speaker of the House?
As was discussed before this committee, and as was reported on before this committee back in December, and it was reported to the House at the end of January, there are a whole bunch of recommendations on that front, and there are general guidelines which are provided for in the rules of procedure. But as was, I believe, if you were to take a look at the committee report, you will discover that there was a conclusion that these guidelines were vague at best.
I would say it is unfortunate that when we're discussing an important policy like this one, that the discussion is sort of marred by your inability to address some of these concerns. And I would just recall that following your address to the Ontario Liberal Party Convention, which also raised concerns about partisanship, you said it was an error and apologized. Following the most recent partisan intervention, you said it was an error and it won't happen again. Before MPs vote tonight on if you should remain chair, why should we believe you?
It's a long-standing tradition in this House, of course, that when members withdraw or apologize for a comment, that the member is taken at his or her word.
I'd like to see the remainder of my time to my colleague.
Okay, Monsieur Berthoud.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Fergus. Merci de votre présence. Je vous écoute depuis le début.
Thank you, Speaker, for being here. I've listened carefully to you since the beginning of the meeting. You've spoken about decorum, about the intent of members when they make remarks. You are at the very heart of another question of privilege concerning your partisanship. Partisanship in the House of Commons as well as outside of the House of Commons. You have a somewhat elastic idea of what partisanship seems to mean. You are supposed to be the arbiter of debate. You adjudicate the debate. And you have to look to the intentions of the members in the House. But you find yourself faced with issues that have never before surfaced for any Speaker of the House. Why do you think that you should maintain the speakership? Well, as I said to your colleague from Durham, I cannot speak to this matter that is before the House. It is before the House right now. Well, when do you think it's time to resign? Well, sir, that is an issue, a matter that is before the House. But your personal perception, no, Mr. Berthold. I would like to give you a few more minutes, but there is no more time for you at this time.